Hey guys, today we're going to learn about array lists, which are a very common thing that you will be using a lot. I love these. An array list is a data structure. That means it's a way to collect data, and array lists can store a bunch of objects. The next video we're going to learn about what I call old school arrays. They're really just called arrays by everyone else. Before we had ArrayList, we had to use these old school arrays, and they were a lot harder. So usually you'll be using array lists, but it is important that you know how to use these too. These square brackets are part of their syntax that you'll be seeing in the next lecture. Okay, so an array list, you usually start it off like this. You type ArrayList, and then you're going to give it a type. But what I usually do is just do AL and then control space and pick it from the list. That's popped up these brackets. Probably haven't seen those before. That's going to show what type of object will be stored in the array list. For the stars in the sky, I'm going to have an array list of stars. I'm going to call my array list sky. And let's just create the star class. Okay, I'm going to pull it over here so we can look at both. Okay, I prefer you to be over there and you to be over there. Okay, so here is my star class, and here is my array list that I'm making, and I'm planning on putting a whole bunch of stars in the sky. Alright, so usually you will know this pattern. We have a type of a thing, and then we have the name of the thing, and then we usually initialize it somehow over here. So in the case of array lists, you can do this, new array list. And I think this might actually, yes, it's already filled in the star for me because it knows from the other side what type it would be. And in here, this C, I'm just going to take this out, but what it means is it's if you wanted to put a number that was the initial size of the array list, you would put it in those parentheses. The other important difference between array lists and old school arrays are that array lists are dynamically sized and arrays are of a fixed size. That means for old school arrays, you have to decide in advance what size you want, and then you're stuck with that. With array lists, as you'll see, I can just start adding things. I'm going to start adding some stars with sky.add. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to make a new star, and then I've added a star. I'd like my star to be a little smarter than that, I guess, so I'm going to give it a name. And over here, I'll generate a constructor. Okay, so now I actually want to put the star name in here. And I'm just going to run this even though it won't do anything. Okay, so I've added one star. I'm going to add another. And this is how you put things into the list. You can be one, the sun. Now I have two stars in the sky, or I have two star objects on my array list. Alright, so the next most important thing is how you get something from the array list, and that, pretty self-explanatory, is ArrayList is done with the get. Okay, so index is going to be which number I want. So Polaris is going to have the index 0, and the sun is going to have 1. Okay, so what this is going to return is a type is going to be a star. And in this case, it's going to give me back Polaris. I think I might print this out just so that you believe me. Okay, so we're going to get some jazz down here because I haven't given a nice toString method to my star class, but I'm going to do that super quick right here. And I'm just going to return, oops, this.name, just the name of the star. All right, now I'm going to run it. And so it's showing me that index 0, I've got Polaris, and you probably know when I change that to 1, it's going to give me the sun. Okay, so there we are, adding things to the list and getting things from the list. There's a whole bunch of other stuff you can do, like you can remove, you can check what's there, you can, anyway, that stuff's all pretty obvious. I just want to show you the most common thing, which is you would usually be iterating over an array list. Did I talk about iterating before? So a for loop is an iterator. And it's when you go through things one at a time in a circle. Okay, so I'm going to iterate through this array list, sky, and then, so for the top number, I want the size of the array, which I can get from sky.size like that. Okay, and then each time I'm just going to do what I did here, which is I'll get a star. And then instead of having 1, I'm going to have I so that it will do all of them. And then I'm going to print it out so you can see. Okay, so I've got the sun and I've got Polaris, and then if I added other stars, stars have pretty cool names, like, let's see. That was your quiz right there. Sirius. Look at these cool names. Sirius. Beetlejuice. Yes, let's have that. Oh, well, I suppose if you're giving me Vega, I'll take it. Who names these? I guess named them because they're pretty old. Well, good work. Have you name my babies. All right, I'm missing some parentheses there from my shoddy cut and paste job. Okay, so now when I press run, I get all of the stars, and for kicks, I might just show you that we can remove things too. I'll remove, look what is going to happen when I do this. What do you think? Trick question. Okay, index 4 out of bounds because there are 4 items on my array list, but they're indexed like this: 0, 1, 2, 3. So I can't get anything at index number 3, not index number 4. The maximum I can go to is 3. So when you go out of the bounds of the array list, then you get an index out of bounds exception. That means that the index, the place that I'm trying to look at on my array list, is bigger than what I'm allowed to do. Okay, so here I'm removing 3. This is the real question. So what will happen this time? Okay, so this time it didn't print out Vega. Vega has been removed. Okay. Now there's a cooler way to do this, and it is more common, so I'm going to just get rid of that and then show you this awesome for each loop. Alright, so for the stars, what this has done is, how you would describe this is like you would say, for each star in the sky. That's how I do it anyway. So for each objective type star in the sky. So it's going to give me each one as a star, so I don't have to do the indexing or anything. I can just do this. What? See? That's cool. All right, now so that one didn't give me an index, but that's really the shorter and best way to iterate through an array list. So exercises, we have band name generator, murder of crows, band name generator, you got to make 2 array lists and generate band names. This ornament, you need to make a decorator class and then make an array list of decorations and then hang them. And then the hardest one, I guess, is this murder of crows. There are crows, there are an array list. Wait, there's an array list of crows. Yes, look at this, array list of crows called a murder, because that's actually a group of crows is called a murder. I think that's cool. And so put your code in here and see if you can find the diamond. See if you can see which crow has a diamond in their stomach. All right, yes, it's a bit weird. I like Edgar Allan Poe a lot. And I'm going to start you off on this other exercise. This is a unit test. These are a bunch of unit tests. Hopefully you remember how to use them, because we're going to be doing a lot more of this, especially in Java 2. But so I'm going to uncomment this first test, and how I did that automatically was I pressed my Windows key and the right slash or question mark. I'm not sure if you have a different keyboard what your shortcut will be, but if you don't have a shortcut or you don't know what it is, you can do uncomment under here somewhere. Where is it? Toggle comment right there. That will take it in and out for you. Okay, so here there are a bunch of exercises. This is the first one. Here's number 2. Here's number 3. So you got to uncomment the first one and then run that and go as you are like that. All right, so the first thing is it says that there's no algorithms class, and I'm going to create that. Okay, and then the second thing is it wants a find broken eggs method. If you are looking to do some practice on your method since last time, I'm going to do it like that because methods are very important. Okay, so I know that the name of the method is find broken egg. From the test, I know that I'm expecting to get a 4 in return. I'm just going to clarify that a little bit. So in your assert equals, you have these things. There's 2 parameters. And the first thing is what's expected. And then the second parameter is the actual. So this first thing is the answer, the correct answer. And the second thing is doing the call, and it's going to return an answer. If both of those 2 things are the same, we'll get a green bar, otherwise we'll get a red bar. I'm sure there's a red bar coming soon, so you can see it in action. Okay, so here's my find broken eggs method. I know it returns an int, so I'll stick that in there as its return type. And then in here are eggs, and eggs is an array list of strings. So I'm just going to pop that over inside the parentheses for this method. Okay, so it's complaining right now because I haven't returned anything. So just to get this all running and unreaded, I'm going to return 0. Save. Why are you red? Oh, it's static. Sorry. All right, static. Cool. And now, yes. Now I'm going to run this test. Play. Lo and behold, it's red. Now I can see more details by clicking on here, and it says assertion failed. I can double click here to see which assertion failed. You might be using that when you get down a little further. And then it says that it expected a 4, but it was a 0. So it expected a 4, but it was a 0. Okay, what I'm actually trying to do here is I have this list of strings, or eggs as I'm calling them, and I want to find the index of the first broken egg. So we've got like 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, and then the next one, 4, is correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to iterate through this array list. And then I'm going to check if it's called its string. I would like it to be called egg. If egg dot contains cracked, then that's the one we want. But how do we know what the index is? So this is a case because now I can't return any numbers. All I know is that this thing, this egg that I'm on right now, is the first correct one, but I can't return what place it lives at on the array, in the array list. Okay, so what I actually need to do here is use an actual for loop that has an index. Okay, now it's going to go, the top number for this is eggs.size. And then I'm going to pull out each egg, which is a string, by hand, like this, eggs.get. And then the index is I. Okay, so that's going to pull out each egg, and then I can check if egg contains cracked. I could even just say cracked because it's contains. Then I'm going to return I. That's the index of this egg. And actually this is kind of annoying because it really should return -1, sort of means that it wasn't found. Okay, so I'm going to rerun my unit test over here. Got the green bar. Green bar, good. Alright, so now I know that I got this one correctly completed. So you guys should do the rest. These are really very similar things that than as to what you see in the real world. Good luck with that, and I'll see you in a moment to play with old school arrays. Bye.